You talk about this madness of the city and how it's such a strange concept with regards to, that you said how the youth of today no longer read. But surely, with everything you've kind of just said, it's always been there. Reading was never common until the recent decades. So to say that we're not reading is such a surprise, that's not. It's a choice. There's a lot more variety in terms of reading that. And in terms of the madness of the city, again, and the privatisation, again, that's always been there. You can look back at ancient Greece with the emperor and how they did the free, everything was for the public, but it was run by the privatisation of the government. While in the Victorian era, you have the factories being built up, whole concrete, brick.
Yeah, there's a.
It's all the same.
I don't think it is the same. I think in the
new technology.
In the yes, there's new technologies in the Victorian era, but there's a huge explosion of literacy. I mean, the form of the novel really depends on that 19th century format. The people, the middle classes, or certain elements of the middle classes, have got time to read. They've actually got time to devour these three-decker novels. And working people are also, for the first time, having available to them forms of cheap literature. I mean, sensational papers, Dickens published in part form. It's a very literary culture. I know that a lot of people obviously don't read or anything to do with it, but culturally that's very much part of it, and it comes to a peak. And I think the forms of writing achieve a particular point in the early 20th century. Thereafter, you're dealing with a form that's got to reinvent itself if it's to continue. And now it is completely different. It's really a different form. And I think new forms of writing and behaving will go on. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying it's just a major difference. It isn't like it was before, I don't think.